Hello everyone, my name is Tom, and welcome to this quick chat where we discuss a specific topic in animation. And today, I think it's time to talk about She-Ra, the Princesses of Power, and CATRA'S redemption. You know, I think it's important to talk about this because nobody is talking about this. Nobody has ever mentioned the possibility of CATRA being redeemed. Like the words CATRA and redemption have never been put in the same sentence until now. This is a brand new idea. I'm the first person to consider this concept. I invented redemption arcs, and I'm not sure how much hyperbole is required before the entire audience realizes I'm joking. So leading up to season 4, I was very critical of the idea of CATRA'Dora being the endgame of the show. Watching the two characters grow apart, considering the status quo and direction that was set, it just didn't make sense to me to bank on the idea that these two would end up together. Even now, I'm not totally behind the idea, because honestly, I think it would be powerful to see a story that says you aren't obligated to forgive people who hurt you, even if they changed, and even if you change, you aren't entitled to forgiveness from the people you hurt. Though, that's probably because I'm a masochist, and I thrive off of tragic, bittersweet stories like that, but there were a few things that I had in mind that would need to happen after season 3 in order for CATRA'Dora or even a CATRA redemption arc to be on the table, and most of those things happened in season 4, so I'm getting ready to take the L, but I still remain skeptical. So first thing we need to acknowledge is that CATRA was not in the mindset that she needed to be in to get Adora back in her life. I don't think she's been seeing Adora in this longing, romantic way that most seem to believe. I think there was a lot of pent-up resentment, jealousy, and spite. Adora represents something to CATRA. Adora is what CATRA wants to be. Adora seems to naturally command the respect that CATRA wants. Adora always had the approval of their guardianship, and the fact that someone like that would show love and compassion towards someone like CATRA gave her a sense of security that she's worth those things. Which was why it was so devastating when Adora just up and left. Someone who gave her such a sense of value and purpose was willing to leave her behind just because she was chosen by some magic sword to be special. Which we all understand this as objective. CATRA felt betrayed, abandoned, tossed aside, and though that was never Adora's intention, we know this as part of the story. But does CATRA honestly seem like the type to admit to being sad? Or does she seem like the type of person who would refuse to admit to herself or to others that she has been hurt? Because of this, CATRA'S mindset would be less, why can't she just come back, and more, I'll show her and everybody else that I don't need her. Which was what motivated her to scratch and claw until she was at the top of the horde. It's what made her okay with doing everything and anything possible to beat the rebellion, even if it meant ripping apart the fabric of time and space. Whatever it takes, CATRA was determined to show Adora that she's doing amazing without her, as opposed to dealing with the feelings she has towards Adora in a healthy way. Because I'm not saying those feelings aren't there. The same way I wouldn't say prior to season 4 that her feelings of regret over the cost of her rise to power weren't there. Rather, they were not being represented, because they were either being deflected or they were deeply buried under anger, resentment, and pain. Then, even as the fabric of time and space was collapsing, CATRA was still lashing out and covering up the root of her emotions with only brief glimpses of the truth. So the idea that something bigger could happen to bring that out of her was doubtful to me. Then, enter Double Trouble. Okay, hold on. Let me just use this platform to say I love Double Trouble so much. Not only do they have such a strong on-screen presence, but they bring so much out of every character they interact with. They are such an awesome character that enhances the story and pushes forward the narrative. And in CATRA'S case specifically, Double Trouble exposed her. They saw through all of her deflection and lies, even lies she was telling herself, in order to force her to confront the real reason she was doing the things she was doing. Forcing her to confront the pain of being rejected by everyone she's cared about or wanted the approval of, while not letting her run from the fact that it has affected her. No matter how much she says she doesn't care, she does. She cares that Adora left, that Scorpia left, that Shadow Weaver left, that she feels like she isn't good enough to be trusted by Hordak, that she feels like she isn't good enough. So it's not unrealistic to believe that this will be the catalyst for change, because until now, CATRA wasn't on track to be redeemed. She was on a path of self-destruction, with no desire to change, and even as we start to see her realize she was pushing people away, see her start to realize that she was hurting people, and emotionally breaking down watching what she had become, she was still refusing to confront how she got there. Therefore, she wasn't going to get better. Even through all of the pain and suffering, she would only be digging herself deeper into her hole of misery and making it harder to be honest with herself the way she desperately needed to be. So honestly, Double Trouble, as vindictive and harsh as they might be, was genuinely the saving grace for Catra, ripping that band-aid off and forcing her to accept the hard truths that she was avoiding, which will allow her to start to recover and start to be, wait for it, a better person, who is redeemed. Catra redemption arc confirmed. Now we're starting to see Catra take steps towards redemption as early as the season 4 finale, when she came out and told Hordak Prime that Euphoria is a super weapon that requires the princesses alive to work, and he would need her to show him how it works. And to be honest, it may have only been a move of self-preservation, possibly continuing to try to move up the ranks of the Horde even through the ranks of Hordak Prime. Or maybe it was literally just her taking advantage of the situation to have value to Hordak Prime purely out of survival. But there does seem to be an understanding between her and Glimmer, now making it seem like maybe this move wasn't just self-serving. Now, slight tangent, I found a quote quite a while ago from Noelle Stevenson saying that Glimmer and Catra are meant to be foils of each other, and then I couldn't find it again, and I didn't want to cite it as word of God because I hate when people are like,
the creator said this, I can't remember where I saw it, but they said it.
So instead, I just used that information to predict roughly how the season would play out for these characters, and include me in to look for parallels between them, and I even did a video on it to be like, guys, watch out for this. But I couldn't find the source for that to be like, Noelle confirms this part of the story here. But thankfully, in a recent interview with CBR, Noelle shared the same sentiment again, saying, and this is paraphrasing, Glimmer and Catra hate each other. However, the reason they hate each other is because they do see so much of themselves in the other, because they are very similar, just on opposite sides of the conflict. So with that knowledge, we now see them in the season finale realizing that they're not so different. They both know and care about Adora. They both allowed power to corrupt them. They both allowed that to push all of their friends away, and now they're in this situation together. And the fact that Catra walked into the situation selling the fact that not only she has value to Hordak Prime, but Glimmer has value as well, giving both of them leverage, it says something about where Catra's at, especially in contrast to where she was. Because if Catra really wanted to, she could have left Glimmer on her own to literally die, and used the fact that she was Hordak's backbone to earn some leverage because she is very manipulative, and I don't doubt that she could have convinced Prime that he would be better off with her than without her. But instead, she ensured that not only Glimmer, but every other princess, including Adora, would be protected. With the information Catra gave him, even if they go to war, Prime would have to give orders preventing lethal force towards any of the princesses because they're too valuable. And right now we can't definitively speak on Catra's motives, but we do know that she did make a point to protect the Princess Alliance, which if nothing else, these are seeds, and not just subtext seeds of, did you see how Catra looked at Adora in this frame? Because yeah, those are seeds, but they're nothing substantial, they're planting grass, it's just aesthetic. But these are seeds that are gonna feed you. This opens the door for an alliance between Catra and Glimmer, which will open the door for a potential alliance between Catra and the rest of the princesses, which will put her and Adora within the same vicinity of each other, in a situation that I see being very similar to the one with Shadow Weaver. In fact, this is probably gonna play out really similar, where Adora's like, yo, Glimmer, why do you keep making friends with the people I cut off, bro? Also, Catra would be reunited with Scorpia, and I'm kinda curious how that will actually play out. If I had to guess, I'd say Catra will probably have a quick arc, where she needs to initiate remorse towards Scorpia for the way she treated her, and that will serve as an introduction to what will happen between her and Adora. But with Adora, I expect that forgiveness won't come as easily, and that will be a story unto itself. My point is, the groundwork has been laid for Catra to have a redemption arc that fans have been anticipating since the beginning of the show. We got the choke point of Double Trouble forcing Catra to face the feelings that she's been running away from since the beginning, and we have a glimmer of hope that Catra wants to start acting selflessly instead of proving how strong she is on her own. Now, considering the fact that this season took everything we thought we knew about this show and shattered it without hesitation, I don't know what to expect moving forward, but all biases aside, a redemption arc for Catra is definitely in the cards now. As always though, we want to know what you think. Is Catra's redemption just around the corner? Let us know in the comments below. Hit us up at Roundtable Vids on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, or find me at TommyPQM on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. Make sure you're subscribed to the Roundtable and hit the bell to never miss a video, like the Let's Talk with Tom, where I explored some of the deeper themes of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Season 4. If you want to go above and beyond to show your support, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button, or pledge to us on Patreon. Links in the description. As always, I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. See ya!